Okay, so I haven't made a video in a while. Might as well. But yeah, this time I'm going to be doing a deck profile. Not exactly like, here I'm going to top a YCS and make deck profile of that deck. It's more like just my friend had this deck. I used it last night at a tournament. I got third. I lost to Mermails in the it's rough. In the very last game of the tournament, or the very last match. So I eventually went 3-1 last night because there weren't very many people there, but there usually aren't very many people there during weeknights. But yeah, that last game I didn't see a rabbit, did not see a macro, and if you can't figure it out by now, this is obviously the deck profile for Macro Rabbit, which, if you haven't heard, topped YCS Barcelona. This isn't the deck list that topped. This is just, kind of budget / I don't have the cards / I really don't want a net deck. So, basically, let's just get down to it. Okay, let's start. Okay, so we obviously have the two rabbits, right? Main guy of the deck. Make sure it exceeds really fast. No big deal. One turn play. You have the guys that you get with rabbit: 3 Sabersaurus, 3 Cabazol, and then you have the main guy for macro. This guy is excellent while macro's up. And for all of you who don't know what this guy does, it's when he destroys an opponent's monster by battle, he can special summon another Dirac with 1700 or less attack from your deck. Even though it can't attack that turn, you still special summon it. So you run 3 of him, so when you attack something and you kill it, you get to special summon another one of him, and then Xyz later in that same turn, pretty much. But what's so good about him is because his effect doesn't state that the monster has to be destroyed by battle and sent to the grave. So you can ram him into a 17k or 17 attack monster, and they both die, but his effect will still activate because it activates when the monster is destroyed. It doesn't activate when they're sent to the graveyard. So they're both still on the field, but they're considered destroyed. And also, while macro is up, it doesn't need to be sent to the graveyard just to activate. So that's basically a plus side. I actually used all 3 of him yesterday. I did not see a rabbit, did not see one while I was playing windups, and it was game 3. I first, I think I guaba'd into another guaba, and then I overlaid for Dolka maybe, and he got rid of the Dolka, and I had macro up, so all of them were removed. Then I made the tour guide play and got Levier, and I'll just put this out here, but I'll keep explaining. And so I Leviered back into my guaba, which I then promptly ran over his Zen Mighty, which allowed me to special summon the 3rd guaba. And this is why you run 3. Besides the fact that if you end up with 2 in your hand. But that's besides the point. Anyway, so here's the tour guide engine. Self-explanatory. I think Night Assailant in because second target for tour guide. Someone was like, oh, hey, he summoned a tour guide and he summoned a Sangan with it. This is like noob play right here. These days, everyone just does tour guide into tour guide because if you tour guide into something else while you only have 1 target in your deck, it's now a dead card. But then he was like, oh shit, you're playing Night Assailant. So, yeah, and overall, Night Assailant is still a really good card because if you set him, they'll assume it's either a Sangan or a Spirit Reaper. and they'll just run into it, and they'll just hopefully and while my macro is up, by the way, they'll just run into it and they'll be like, whatever. If it's a Spirit Reaper, it'll just stay there. At least it'll be face up. And if it's a Sangan, it won't get its effect while macro is up. And I'm just like, no, I'm just going to Night Assailant, and it's going to kill you. So I won a game off that. My opponent was at 200 damage. I flipped it, destroyed his one monster, and attacked directly. It was so funny. Best moment ever. Anyway, and then I have 2 Spirit Reaper. I had to stall for a long time, so this came in handy. This came in very handy. I have no idea why this one's drawn on. This isn't my Spirit Reaper. I'm borrowing it, but it looks pretty cool actually. If you can't see it, it's like it has like red colored on it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, and then last card, last monster, Granmole. I teched him in because Barcelona guy used him, and he came in very handy actually. So I will just say that this was basically one of the only techs I put in that Barcelona guy did too. That I've basically net decked him with the Granmole. That's just about it in this deck. Now on to spells, staples, more staples. I feel like I'm advertising staples right now. Even more staples, and more staples, and finally the lances. The basic spell lineup. I mean, there really isn't anything extraordinary in here, anything special or anything, so yeah, it's a very ordinary spell lineup. So usually whenever someone first turn Shockmasters you with windups, it doesn't really hurt very much because I'm not running very spell hard. I'm more so running traps. So the trap lineup, 2 bottomless, 2 compulse. Barcelona guy ran 2 deep prison, but I feel like, especially against Atlanteans, I felt like those were kind of dead. So I put in compulses instead of deep prisons, because this essentially does the same thing to Xyz monsters that Dimensional Prison does, but with the added effect of if it's like a really big monster that Abyss Megalo, you need 2 water monsters to get it back out. It's either this is kind of a gamble, just about. It'll either end up in a humongous plus for them if they have 2 more, which I highly doubt, because they only start out with so many cards in their hand, or it's a tremendous plus for me because now they have a dead card in their hand that they can't use. 2 Fiendish Chain stops high attack monsters from attacking and also negating their effects. So Dino Rabbits can only go up so high attack wise. So you want to be able to stop their attacks. Main trap card of the deck, Macrocosmos, shits on most decks that rely on the graveyard. Basically, any card that's sent to the grave is banished, so you're kind of fucked. Especially against Dark Worlds, Atlanteans. I did not see a single one during my game against Atlanteans, which is why I lost so fast. Anyway, next, Mirror Force. I kind of wanted Mirror Force in here as a complement to Torrential. 1 Torrential, 1 Mirror Force. Kind of seems right. I did not have a second Torrential. I could have easily gotten one, but I really didn't feel like getting one because I felt like this kind of complements each other. If you want to surprise your opponent, you play Mirror Force. If you want to just totally destroy them, you go Torrential. So I'd usually make the play of setting Mirror Force, and then it's against windups, and they'll just go all the way to the OTK, and they'll figure by the time they get to the OTK, you don't have Torrential. Or no, you're gonna Torrential at the very end. to get rid of basically their whole field. But then they're like, oh, wait. So they go the safe route and go, go Zen mains. And so they attack, and I'm just Mirror Force. And they're like, okay, I just could have made a much better play, considering it's a Mirror Force. But other than that, there's really nothing else this does other than bluffing. Solemn Brigade. Me personally, I'm really against playing Solemns. Besides Judgment, I don't really like playing Warning because I just don't. I like the card, but I don't really like it. I try to avoid it because it's really good. And I just, like in my 6 Samurai deck, I just played 2 Bottomless, 2 Compulse, to make up for the fact that I don't have Warning in there. But I mean, it's all up to player preference. The Warnings actually came in handy a lot, so didn't matter. Then finally, Starlight Road. This shit is amazing. And that's basically all I can say about it. I mean, basically, Starlight Road is just, destroys the bane of Dino Rabbits. Just about, which is the Insta-Bottomless and the Torrentials and the Heavies. If you play against a Dino Rabbit player who has 5 back row, please do not Heavy Storm. If you Heavy Storm, you're going to have a bad time. That is it. That's it. My friend had made the mistake of Heavy Storming me while I have 4 back row, and I'm just like, okay, Starlight Road. And he's just like, I lose. Can't do anything else. Because I still have my, 3 back row left, and plus the Stardust Dragon that is now on my field. So, yeah, let's move on to the extra deck. Old chaps? Not really. 1 Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon OP, Starlight Road OP equals OP play. And plus 2500 attack, can protect Logia. 2 Dolka, 2 Logia, all good. Gem Knight Pearl because I wanted Beat Stick and I needed to fill up some extra deck space. I took him out once because I couldn't get over something, so it was really sad. 1 Levy Air because I don't have 2, or else one of the rest of these would be a Levy Air. I think mainly the Roach probably. 1 Leviathan because Leviathan is OP. 1 Giga Brilliant. I never had to use this, even though I really wanted to, but I never had to. It's basically good for buffing up my Dolkas and Logias, but whenever I got it out, I really didn't need one. I could just, hold off with the Dolkas and Logias. As well as getting Leviair. So that felt good. Hope, Utopia, good. For the Mind Control, Utopia Ray, if you can't see it, it's Ghost. This is obviously not mine. I wish I had a Ghost Utopia. Roach, this one is mine. I'm so happy. Roach is good. I never had to take him out, though, because obviously I'm not playing against Synchro-centric decks. Or special summon high monster decks. I could have used it against Megalo Abyss, but I never fucking saw Rabbit. Anyway, Tempo gets rid of Zen Main's Super Quack, and Zen Main's gets rid of itself Super Quack. So that was basically the deck list. I might be entering a small little partnership, I guess, with Team Rated R, if you've ever heard of them. It's just, two guys from California. Between me and you, I think the main guy's kind of a douche, but, I mean, you don't have to tell him that. Even though I already told him that. But, yeah, so I guess you can just go check out his channel. Link will probably be in the description if I remember to put it there. I probably am. But, other than that, this has been a really long video, and I think I will be uploading a video onto their channel if the guy lets me. And if they don't, it'll probably end up on this channel, and it'll be about side decking. So, pleased to talk to you all, and I will see you guys later. Peace.